a small village, and one of three people who don't know Attard, Balzan and Leah wouldn't realise that they were crossing the boundary from one to another. But that's part of its fascination. And I really like this slightly early Knights period, late medieval atmosphere that it has when you look into the little alleyways. This mixture of elegance and the rural, still vaguely apparent in the village. That's what really attracts me to it.
You've got these houses that from the outside they look plain and simple, and when you go in, even the garden, you say, well, and the houses in Main Street coming up towards the square, you've got all those, they look small, but they all have a quite sized garden at the back.
A lovely little village with nice architecture and a beautiful skyline with the church, and quiet people, quiet streets, and friendly atmosphere.
Used to be a rural village, but now it's more urbanized like the rest of Malta, actually.
I've lived here since I was 22, so 45 years. We came here not specifically searching for Balzan, but more searching for a place that was appropriate for us. And we found it, but we found it in a place that we really liked, which was absolutely great. Well, there are several places in Balzan that make me feel quite good and quite calm. And I think that I do tend to go back to them, little bits of the square or little streets that I particularly enjoy. But one of the places that I really like to stand around and just look is the house of Fra Zamit. He was a doctor. Born in 1650, if I remember rightly, and he had a little house just next to what is now the parish church. When he was born, of course, the parish church wasn't finished yet, but he was born in Valletta of quite a wealthy family. He had training in medicine, and by 26 years old, he was already a reader in anatomy and surgery at the university. So he was a very important person, and we're very lucky that at least part of his house remains today. On one of my walks around Balzan, I looked up and was very surprised to see this lion head built on a rooftop, not very high up. And I said to myself, gosh, how have I not seen him before? Because I must have walked past him 101 times. But I think it was because normally I'm rather careful at how I walk in the street, so that I'm aware of always the danger of tripping up and hurting myself. So I just happened to be gazing around, or I might have heard a bird or something. I look up and I see this lovely lion, beautifully sculptured, I have to say, and it's still in very good condition. And after that, as I walked around, I said, you know, I wonder whether there are any more of them. And suddenly I found 4 or 5 in the same street or the streets nearby. And some of them are small, some of them are larger, some of them are above doors, ordinary doors. Others are above remissa doors and garages. And then I started asking around to see whether somebody knew something about them. And it seems that people are under the impression, probably rightly, that they were built to ward off evil spirits from the house. The
came here in 1969 or 70 from Slema. I found it a very nice, quiet village. I was lucky to live in an old house which was very beautiful in 3 Churches Street, called Casa Tre Chiese. And coming to the church was a delight because it's so beautiful. Some of the 4 evangelists on the dome are painted by my great-grandfather. They're beautiful pictures. Cali, Giuseppe Cali. So it's a very nice village, really. The church is it's very old, very beautiful. It's dedicated to Annunciation. The open centre and the people who lived there. Well, there was a remarkable nun, Sister Agnes, who looked after the open centre more than 10 or 15 years. So she was the organizer of everything, and I think she asked for donations. We all donated something every month. Something remarkable, I was asked to teach English I was an English teacher for foreigners, and she asked me to teach English to a lady who was going to work as from Bangladesh. Now I've kept up with that family ever since. Well, what I like a lot is it made a street, the Bon Pasteur. It's an enormous place with a great history. And remember, it's been looking after battered wives for a long, long time and educating girls for several generations. Now, that I like a lot because the issue of marriage and love and problems is very, very modern. So we've got a very, very old route which goes well beyond Malta, all over the world. I even came across them in Cairo, the same nuns. So I like that a great deal. What don't I like? There's one pavement which is very dangerous, right opposite where the bank used to be, and I do hope now that they're going to redo the pavement that they'll sort it out, because I've seen mothers with prams, you know, going along, and very dangerous because the child could fall under a car literally as they go by. So that's what I don't like. The only thing.
I was born and bred here. I've moved out of the village for some time. We went to England and I lived for some time in Malta. But now I thankfully came back to Balzan and I hope to stay till the end. Basically, my childhood was spent running around this block here with my cousins, all my cousins. My brother had 7 brothers and sisters, and my mother had 4 brothers and sisters, and we were a multitude of cousins. And we all lived in the same street, St. Mary's Street, from the beginning to the end. This is my favorite childhood cup. I've got another one, I've got 2 of them, left from my parents' old china. Now, when I was about 5 or 6, between 6 and 8, the museum people, the ladies at the museum, she was called Giusa Zarafa, she was called the superiora. She used to make us a party for the children who are doing their first Holy Communion. And they used to invite all the children that were of the same groups, you know. And she used to make cocoa in a big kettle, and she used to pour us a cup and give us a little bun or biscuit, I don't remember, but I remember the cocoa. And I used to be proud and take my cup proudly to this place for the party. And woe betide if I don't find this cup, because I would make a mess. I've got two, I guard them with my life. I'm going to leave them in my inheritance now. Now this picture here was taken on the steps of this club, band club, down here, at the front of the band club. It was taken in 1956 or 57, I'm not sure the exact date, but it's 56 or 57. And it was a first tour to Rome with our parish priest who had just come new to the parish. And it was, all of these people around here were mostly villagers. They're all from the same village. I can remember and mention some faces here, but they're all gone, unfortunately, now. Most of them are, anyway. And I was 12 years old. I am here in the middle. My aunt took me on this tour to Rome as a gift for passing my 11 plus exam, you know, the going to secondary school. It was a really big thing, organizing a tour for the village. Culturally speaking, we've got band clubs who are really the heart of the village when they're open, because at the moment everything is closed down. So cultural activities are mostly organized by them. But then we've got church activities, and sometimes we have council activities. Before COVID, it wasn't lacking. We did have enough to keep us on the go. And I think what is lacking in this village is more open spaces, because it's being stifled by building. Every field that when we were kids, the village was surrounded by fields. Now you don't even see a bit of soil anywhere. Even internal gardens are being built up. Unfortunately, we're losing a lot of our character, because Balzan used to be a farming village. It used to be a rahal, like they call it in Maltese.
Well, actually, I was born at the end of this village, Birkirkala side, let's call it, under those big trees. And I was born there, and I grew up there. I had a very good childhood, even though I am fatherless. And as my father had my uncle, my mom had her mom and her brother to help her out, so we were quite a close family, and this being after the war, somehow we managed. I went to school up here at the government elementary school, and after the primary I moved to the Lyceum in Hamrun. So I spent a lot of time here in the village. My childhood was completely here, and I was very proud to be here. Teenagers, it was the custom at that stage, every Sunday morning used to go strolling in San Anton Gardens, and the status symbol was to have a portable radio. This was something completely new at that stage. It had just been invented, so just to have a portable radio, even though it was so heavy, but it was called portable. And you go around with it in your hands. And perhaps it was the way we met, but we had met before, well before that. But I used to like it. It was this, and the motor scooter. We were perhaps the first couple to go around to Valletta and whatever, hair wearing slacks and jeans, and myself with a motor scooter. To come into the village with a motor scooter, it's as if you're coming now with a Porsche. It was something, but that was this 1960s, early 1960s. Well, this is our very, very, very first photo together. Both of us didn't own a camera, so we were in San Anton for the Spring Fair, and Dovik, which was a street photographer living here in Balzan, and we decided to take a photo. It was something as if you're going to a studio to take a photo. Imagine that today we can take photos wherever we are with our own telephone, but then it was something. And when you see how young we were, both of us, perhaps one of the first kisses.
Well, Balzan means a lot to me. I mean, I've been living here since I and my late wife got married, since 1971. So it's quite some time now, practically more time living here than anywhere else. Well, anywhere else I didn't make a long span because my childhood was in Valletta. And then my youth was divided, part of it in Lija, 3 years, and then from there to Slema. And from Slema I got married, we came back, I came here. Well, it changed a lot since then, from that time till today, it's been on the go, Balzan. As you can see, the construction going up. Well, unfortunately, there aren't much nowadays because due to demolished and construction being maisonettes and apartments all over. Let's take in front of the St. Aloysius Primary School, there was quite a large garden there, and nowadays it's not anymore. Then again, part of the garden of the sisters, the convent of Bon Pastor, is being taken for maisonettes and apartments as well. So it's very, very, I mean, the smell, you have to make a treasure hunt nowadays, which is a pity. I mean, the village was known for the orange and lemon trees, but that's life. The place that you feel a Balzani, you know, a villager, it's a main square. And there I mean, that is the place that you can meet and talk and have a coffee or whatever, tea. And that's a meeting place, meeting point, you know. Easy to reach.
It's a very quiet village, still, even though we've been inundated by buildings, but it's still a quiet village.